What harm are we talking about? Well, I'll tell you what harm you're talking about. I had friends of color that ended up getting assaulted when they were teenagers. Beat up behind the school, bones broken. That's still a hate crime, even if they were 12 or 13. I've had people in high school actively get friends to try and kill themselves. Why? Because they were queer. I've had friends who were sexually assaulted when they were just freshmen in high school. And maybe all of those were extremes. But you know what also sucks? The constant psychological onslaught of people hating you for who you are. You call that being idiots on the internet. I call that adding to the culture of perpetual hate of minorities. Maybe you could just look that over, but that constant hate has people in therapy still trying to deal with issues and emotional scars that won't go away. And you might say, oh, these are just kids being idiots. Those kids being idiots hurt people in a way that lasts for a lifetime. In my last video, you know what I said? I said, own your choices. Yeah, it's not fair if you're being groomed by the alt-right pipeline. It's not fair if people target you. And it's not fair if you're vulnerable or lonely. And the responsibility is not 100% yours, because obviously there were adults that tried to prey on you, and that sucks. But if you take an action that harms another human being, you still have to own that. Whether you were one of the people who beat up someone in school, or whether you were someone who was posting hateful things on forums, you made someone's life worse. And I do think you should seek to make amends for that. Maybe not necessarily like hunting down the exact person you harmed, because that's nearly impossible and also kind of creepy. But if you harmed a marginalized community, even as a kid, work to make that community better. Use the resources you have as an adult and the clarity, knowing that those actions were wrong that you have as an adult, to make that community better. Pay back the harm you did with good threefold or more. Because you still did that harm. Even if people pushed you into doing that harm, you still did that harm. I did harm when I was a kid, and I made amends for it, and I'm still making amends for it. You don't get to absolve yourself from your behavior because you were a kid. Because for you, it's easy to just push that off and say I was a stupid kid. But there are other people out there who are still affected from those actions as an adult. This may be an uncomfortable truth, but it's a truth. Hurting other people is not normal. And if you hurt other people, you should make amends for it. It's as simple as that. And that's why I don't want falling down the alt-right pipeline to be normalized. You can talk about it. Talking about it is fine. Sharing your experiences is fine. That's part of forgiving yourself and being a better person. But another part of being a better person is owning the harm you caused and making amends for it. I will die on that hill.